It is 1984. The United States and the Soviet Union are deadlocked in a geopolitical standoff, defined by the constant threat of mutually assured destruction. Both superpowers are pouring billions of dollars into military intelligence and aerospace engineering, stockpiling thousands of nuclear warheads to project sheer physical dominance. In Washington, President Ronald Reagan maintains a rigid, unyielding posture to match the Soviet military buildup. But in Moscow, the Soviet leadership recognizes a glaring flaw in the calculus. Detonating a nuclear weapon on American soil obliterates the exact industrial and economic infrastructure they intend to control. Physical annihilation offers no practical reward. To win the long game, the Soviet Union requires a weapon that leaves the American cities completely untouched. They formulate a new tactical objective. The goal is to induce a permanent state of paralysis across the American workforce from the inside out. The delivery mechanism is a cognitive virus, a psychological tool designed to captivate and hijack the human mind, using nothing but the predictable movement of falling geometric shapes. Executing this strategy requires shifting resources away from traditional military generals and funneling them directly into state-sponsored computer science. The Dorosnitsin Computing Center of the Soviet Academy of Sciences becomes the staging ground for this covert operation. The 1980s arms race transitioned from nuclear payloads to weaponized digital psychology. Inside the computing center, a software engineer named Alexey Pajitnov receives an official assignment to test the limits of the new Elektronika 60 computer hardware. Pajitnov takes a traditional mathematical puzzle involving geometric shapes, known as polyominoes, and translates their logic into a digital grid. He programs these geometric shapes to descend continuously from the top of the monitor. When Pajitnov shares the resulting program via floppy disk with his colleagues, a localized economic crisis breaks out inside the laboratory. Highly trained Soviet mathematicians and government researchers fall into an intense, trance-like state, completely abandoning their duties to stare at the descending blocks. Productivity at the computing center flatlines entirely. Pajitnov's superiors are forced to physically ban the software from the facility to force their staff back to work. This accidental laboratory outbreak provides the Soviet High Command with empirical proof. They possess a fully functional, trance-inducing psychological weapon. The state seizes total control of the code. They establish Elektronika, or ELORG, as a dedicated government front organization to manage its external distribution. The KGB and the broader Soviet intelligence apparatus keep a tight grip on the asset, aggressively monitoring any outside attempts to access it. In 1989, Nintendo executive Hank Rogers travels directly into Moscow, navigating this surveillance network to negotiate handheld licensing rights for the code. The Soviet government willingly hands over the rights. They allow Nintendo to bundle the cognitive virus directly with their highly anticipated delivery system, the Game Boy. Mainstream history classifies this as a landmark licensing deal. In reality, the Soviet Union turned a Japanese corporation into an unwitting international arms smuggler. Nintendo manufactures millions of these plastic devices, shipping them directly into the hands and pockets of the American public. Across the United States, adults sit paralyzed, staring into green screens, completely detached as the global economy shifts around them. Medical professionals begin documenting a widespread condition that they officially classify as the Tetris Effect. They find that prolonged visual exposure to the software actively rewires the brain's neural pathways. Patients report hallucinating L blocks and squares during sleep and instinctively superimposing geometric grid patterns onto buildings and objects in the waking world. Disguised as a plastic toy, the Soviet Union's multi-billion-dollar psychological operation executed exactly as designed. The dissolution of the Soviet Union in 1991 led historians to declare an American victory. However, the 1984 strategy was never about holding physical land. It was about holding the American mind. By the time the flags were lowered in Moscow, the objective had already been achieved. The Game Boy served as a late-century Trojan horse, smuggled into millions of homes under the guise of entertainment. The aerodynamic threat of falling intercontinental ballistic missiles was successfully compressed and digitized into 4-pixel formations. Every time you clear 4 lines on a screen today, you are willingly participating in a 1980s Soviet mind control experiment. The geopolitical puzzle conspiracy is entirely real. Stay dizzy, my friends, and welcome to the Timeline Circus.